Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, and I am Wadzanai Manyore. So one of the achievements that the new dispensation has brought about is the establishment of the youth desk in various ministries of our government. Now, in efforts of seeking to equip the Zimbabwean youth, the government of Zimbabwe has adopted various mechanisms and techniques to ensure that the youth participate in issues to do with our economy, such as food security, trade imbalance, export growth, and issues to do with unemployment in general. In this particular point in time, we are going to take a new direction in this episode, where we are going to be discussing youth empowerment in Zimbabwe in the new dispensation as we make way for achieving Vision 2030 as a country. Now, Zimbabwe is agro-based and it is a youthful country with well over 67% of the population being the youth. At this point in time, I am joined by Mr. Nikros Kajengo. He is the Chief Programs Coordinator in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Rural Resettlement right here in Zimbabwe. Mr. Kajengo, thank you for joining us today.
Welcome, thank you. Greetings to you, listeners and viewers.
Yes, as we get into our discussion, we are going to be focusing on issues to do with youth empowerment. I understand that Zimbabwe is a youthful country. We are an agro-based economy, where our economy is heavily reliant on agricultural produce. Our value chains emanate from agriculture. Now, let us talk about the government's efforts in order to equip the Zimbabwean youth with either capital, finances to undertake any project in the agricultural industry. Your comments and sentiments on that?
Thank you very much for the question. Well and good. Virtually, it has to be very clear that for development to take place, it's a prerequisite. It's a sine qua non for the environment to be conducive. Government of Zimbabwe made it very clear that the ground for empowerment has to be cleared and has to be availed. Constitutionally, in terms of Zimbabwean Constitution, Amendment number 20, Act of 2013, Chapter 2, Section 20, it's a requirement, it's a prerequisite for all government agents and institutions at various levels to mainstream youth in agriculture. So we are saying the constitutional provision is a clear reflection of how committed government of Zimbabwe, under the wise counsel and leadership of President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to support, empower and mainstream youth. Secondly, a number of policy instruments have been put in place. We have got the National Youth Policy, a revised one, that was approved by Cabinet this week. It's also a step in the right direction towards youth empowerment and participation in agriculture. Coming on to the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Settlement, a number of legal instruments or policy documents have been put in place to support agriculture and youth participation. We have got various strategies that have been put in place. The current agriculture recovery plan, agriculture and food system, transition system, is also one of the policy documents that can support youth participation in agriculture. Everybody is taken on board, everybody is put on board, everybody is considered as an important asset in as far as empowerment and transformation of the economy is concerned.
As we forge towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country, we are talking of not leaving anyone behind. This is an inclusive approach where we are saying everyone should participate. But we have the youth down there in Binga, Bocha, Marange. What is your position? What efforts are you putting in place as the youth desk to ensure that Tatenda there in Bocha is included in these programs?
Thank you very much. As you are aware that issue of agriculture, issue of livelihoods, issue of poverty alleviation is not only a national cause, but it's a global cause. Now, coming on from the youth in agriculture perspective, we are trying by all means to ensure that all young people, irrespective of political, social, economic, whatever sphere, are part and parcel of this economic train. So we are saying we are making use of various strategies and mechanisms to make sure that young people's ears are heard, and of course their voice is well heard. So we have to make sure that we hear the concern of each and every young people. Now, agriculture is broader, it's multifaceted, it's very dimensional. It's not only about cropping. We also have to look into cropping, livestock, ICT. As an office, we don't operate in a vacuum. We are working hand in glove with various associations. We have got Apex Council that coordinates youth associations that are scattered throughout the country.
Yes.
We have got Federation of Young Farmers Clubs. These are clubs of young people throughout the country. We have got clubs in March Central, March West, Manicaland, all over the country. The clubs are in existence, they are there. We also have got various platforms that can help attract, that can help inform the young people and conscientize them on the programs that are being done or implemented by government. For example, we have got various social media platforms. We have got WhatsApp groups. We also have got Facebook page, Agricultural Youth Desk. Most of it has got 10,000, participants or likes.
Yes.
10,000.
Yes.
Who are on social media. So we are today on radio. We are on ZTV today. It's one of the avenues which we are using to create synergies and opportunities for the young people in the agricultural arena.
Okay.
Hence, it's important for young people to take part. We want all on board, irrespective of whatever status or sphere, as I mentioned earlier on. They are all welcome, all young people, as long as they are progressive, as long as they are willing to take agriculture as a noble profession, as a noble career. The office is open. We have got an open door policy. After all, in line with the current devolution thrust by government of Zimbabwe, we are everywhere. The ministry is almost there. At ward level, at district level, we have got the Department of Agri-Tax, where our extension officers, the EWs, are working with the farmers, including the youth. So we have to make sure that they are included. That is why you see some programs like Fumvudza, Command Agriculture, and various programs that were actually implemented by government. Youth were involved.
Yes.
And they had to take a big chunk from those programs, which is a clear reflection of the simple fact that the government is geared and of course committed to youth empowerment and mainstreaming in the economic spheres of life.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. Now, as we round off our segment, I like that you allude the fact that regardless of political affiliation, religion, your thoughts, or even your mindset, you would want the youth, all of them, to come on board and take part in agricultural activities that will bring prosperity to our country. Let us talk of some of the opportunities that are there. I understand that they are in agriculture. Agriculture is broad. We have cropping, we have animal husbandry, we have fisheries, we have, forestry. What are some of the opportunities at the moment that one at home can take advantage of and make a living out of that?
Thank you very much. The first important to me or to us is issue of skills development. The ministry has got 8 colleges of agriculture. Almost every province has got a college of agriculture where young people can take advantage of. They can be trained. Secondly, various programs that are run by the ministry. Youth, that's your opportunity. We have got Fumvudza. It's open to all. It's open. Remember, it's a presidential input scheme meant to support the vulnerable groups that include youth and even women. So Fumvudza is for you. Fumvudza is for Zimbabwe. Fumvudza is for everybody. We have got Command Agriculture, provided one has got access, not only land, but one has to have access, not ownership. I mean access. Whether you are under a joint venture or you are farming under a communal setup or you are leasing, provided you have got access to land, you have got equitable access to these fundamental opportunities that are imparted to young people by the loving and listening government under the leadership of Comrade Edie.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. There you heard it, viewers. I was with Mr. Nikros Kajengo. He was telling us that regardless of your political affiliation, your religion, you can still take part in agriculture right here in Zimbabwe. Now, viewers, we are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment of your program. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for remaining tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with me, the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, on 0772-807-506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Now, we are also now available on Twitter, and our Twitter handle there is at Agribusiness110. Now, in this particular episode, we were talking of youth empowerment, and prior to this segment I was joined with Mr. Nikros Kajengo, who was enlightening us on government efforts to empower the Zimbabwean youth. At this point in time, I am joined by the Empower Bank Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Shadrack Membere. Mr. Membere, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, and welcome viewers.
Thank you so much. Now, as I've alluded to earlier on, we are talking of youth empowerment in Zimbabwe, and you are the Chief Executive Officer of the Empower Bank. What is your background, your policies aligning them to youth empowerment? What do you represent in the agricultural community of Zimbabwe, especially aligning it to the youth?
Thank you, Wadzanai. I'll start by telling you who Empower Bank is. Empower Bank is a microfinance bank wholly owned by the government of Zimbabwe. We are a product of Section 20 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. If you go to the Constitution, Section 20 empowers government to come up with measures to empower young people and to get them involved in the economic affairs of the country. So we were actually formed in response to that section of the Constitution. So we were formed in 2018 on the 5th of July. That's when we were launched by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa. And I'll tell you, when he opened that bank, he gave us two things. The first thing was the performance of the bank was going to be measured by the number of young people that we are going to empower as Empower Bank. And also, he implored young people to access loans from the bank, and he emphasized that young people who are going to get loans from the bank, they are supposed to repay the loans. Yes. So we are a product of government specifically created to empower young people. And when it comes to the issue of agriculture, Wadzanai, I'm sure you have come across a talk about the next billionaires in the whole world, where they are going to come from. The biggest number of billionaires are going to come from agriculture. And there's an empowerment bank meant to empower young people. We don't want our young people to remain behind. We also want to count them amongst the next billionaires. And that's why as a bank we are promoting youth in agriculture. So we have got financial solutions that we have come up with, which will enable them to also play a part in the revolution of agriculture in Zimbabwe, and also to become billionaires, as is already being expected to happen in the near future.
Thank you so much, Mr. Membere. Now, looking at the devolution policy, I understand that as the Empower Bank, you are so far in 4 towns. You are in Masvingo, Mutare, Harare, and Bulawayo. Yes. Are you having any plans of decentralizing? Looking at that, we have some youth who are marginalized. Are you looking at decentralizing? And if you are, what is your plan, your operations, your activities? How do you intend to take them further to Binga, to take them to Marangi, to take them to Inyanga? How are you going to, make sure that every youth is included in your operations?
Thank you, Wadzanai. You are basically addressing the issue of devolution when we look at NDS1. Our new dispensation wants us to be where the people are. And there's a bank for the people and there's a bank for the youth. Surely we must be where our youths are. But in terms of focus, we want to be in all the provinces of Zimbabwe. All the 10 provinces, we need to be there. But you will find that sometimes it's very expensive to be there by creating branches, physical branches. We are not going to be able to do it in the shortest period of time. Eventually we'll get there. Yes. But for now, what we are doing is we are taking advantage of technology to be where the young people are. You know that young people are tech savvy. So we are investing in technology, and we are investing in channels that will allow young people to access the bank even in those 4 provinces that you have spoken about, Masvingo, Mutare, Bulawayo, and Harare. So young people can get to their bank if they go on the internet. We are on all social platforms. They will be able to talk to us. If they manage to open accounts at the bank, they still can access their accounts while it's in Binga. For instance, we are on mobile banking. Yes. We have a product called MobiBank. a product of Empower Bank. They can access their account balances, they can transfer monies, even when they are in Kariba.
Now, Mr. Membere, I'm just going to have to cut you short. What I know that most of the viewers there at home, our audience, the minute I say that youth empowerment, I understand that there are a lot who are watching.
Okay.
What they would want to know is, what does it take for a youth to be able to acquire capital in terms of maybe working capital, in terms of hard cash or be it inputs? What does it take for that youth to be considered? The channel, what does he or she have to do in order to be considered for such schemes?
Thank you, Azanai. Like I said right from the beginning, we are a bank for the young people.
Yes.
We are open to do business and we are open to empower them. There are two things that we do for empowerment. Number one is financial literacy training.
Okay.
We are available to train them so that they understand financial matters. Some don't even know how to apply for a loan. So we take them through the paces so that they know how to access a loan, the processes that they have to go through. Yes. Then number two, we then avail the loans. So if anyone wants a loan from the youth bank, what we basically want from them is a business proposal. What do they want to do with the money? We don't just dish out the money. Yeah. Remember, like I said, when the president opened the bank, he said, in Shona, he actually said, Masamba Asiana, meaning in the past, people were just, dollars were being doled out to people who did not have projects. But this time around, because government has set up a bank for young people, we want a young person to come up with a business proposal. Even if the business proposal is not up to scratch, our people are ready to take them through the paces and help them to make it properly configured so that it becomes a bankable project. Then we can then give them money. So what we want is your business project and your commitment to fulfilling that project.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Membere. That was very detailed. Now, just a snippet in 30 seconds, your word of advice to the youth. I understand that when people talk of money, when people talk of capital, they may be tempted, like what you've just said, to go maybe shopping or maybe spend it or go partying because we are young people. Your word of advice in terms of creating a viable relationship between you and the financier, what are your sentiments on that?
I'll tell you what, regarding your question. When I move around and tell people that I'm from the youth bank, they feel sorry for me. Do you know why they say that?
Why?
They say you are dealing with a difficult segment. The young people are very volatile. The young people may not be trustworthy. So my word of advice to the youth is, please prove those people wrong, that you are not volatile, that you are people who are committed to doing business. That's the word of advice. So to create a good relationship with the bank, the starting point is, even before you want to come and access a loan, why don't you just come and open an account?
Okay.
Yeah, we have got quite a number of savings accounts. We have got what we call a KYC light account. That one you just give us an ID, and before you know it, we give you an account. We give you a debit card. So you now have a relationship with the bank. Then maybe a month or 2 months down the line, you want a loan. When we start asking for KYC documents or know your customer documents, and usually banks will ask for 3 months bank statements, you just tell the bank, I already have an account, so I've got a relationship with you. So it's always good for young people to bank and start developing a relationship with a bank even before you want to come and borrow. I know people who say we use mobile money. Yes, that's not a problem. Have mobile money, but start a relationship with a bank, open a bank account. Empower Bank is ready to give you a bank account, and will give you a debit card. That account is linked to mobile banking. You can access your money anywhere, anytime, where you are. Then when you come for a loan, we already know you. We are already friends. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, Mr. Membere. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers.
There you heard it, viewers. We are rounding off our second segment. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. We are in the third and final segment of our program, and at this point in time, I am joined by Mr. Baldwin Mazango. He is the Black 4B alumni. He went through Black 4B. He is the Vice President of the Federation of Young Farmers Club of Zimbabwe. And he is also the Vice President of the Apex Council. Mr. Mazango, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadzanai, for having me. Hello, Zimbabwe.
Yes, Mr. Mazango, as we get into our discussion, I understand that the government has taken upon itself to ensure that it supports associations and even clubs of farmers. How are you complementing that effort, and how has been the government's help towards helping you as a club?
Oh, thank you, Wadzanai, once again. With the assumption of duty by the current Minister of Agriculture, who was our patron for the Federation of Young Farmer Clubs Zimbabwe, he gave us specific targets for us to meet as young farmers and as associations. We were given a certain target that we were supposed to play our part in filling up the silos. We actually have what we're calling the young farmer fuel silos challenge, which was also initiated by our PS. So we now have a coordinated approach that we're taking as young farmer associations, be it the federation that we highlighted, the Apex Council, coalition of graduates, and other various youth-led agricultural associations in playing our part to ensure food security. Chiefly, that was the main thrust, food security, and so that we also achieve a surplus as a country.
Yes, that was very detailed. Moving right along, your thrust and your goal is the Federation of Young Farmers Clubs of Zimbabwe. What are you mainly focused on? We understand that in our economy we have various issues ranging from unemployment of the youth, ranging from food security. You know, we want to increase our export growth. So what is your thrust and your goal as a club?
Oh, thank you, Wadzanai, once again. What it means to us as a federation and other youth-based associations that came also on board is just a proof of concept. Okay. That us young guys are capable of getting the job done, you know, producing, getting results, you know, participating in a large way on the mainstream agricultural activities that are in this country. So, with what was spoken by the earlier speakers before me, agriculture is broad. So you have your cropping, you have your animal husbandry, you have your logistics, you have your marketing, you have your exports. There are a lot of dimensions, and also what you're doing advocacy in agriculture. That's another avenue. So what we want to do is we want to show, and we have shown it, that us young guys are capable. We have within our ranks, within the federation, it's multicultural. We have people of all races, all religions, and even of different political persuasions. But what we have managed to bring us together is we want to, you know, give a new impetus in the drive for agriculture. That is what has led us to be where we are. And but what we are discovering, and even amongst our ranks, we have people who have achieved the highest maize yield in the whole of Africa. We have people who have set up new dairy concepts around dairy. We have people who have produced new varieties of potatoes, and we have people who have traveled the world. We have had a comfort, but they have just come back to Zimbabwe. Then we have coalesced around this association, and we are now saying we want to play our part and you know, be recognized, and also have more young guys to come in and slow the reins, because there are vast opportunities that are available within this space, and we would want, given how Zimbabwe is agro-based and also that we have a youthful population, we want to unleash that talent of youth within the agricultural space, so that, you know, we now have bringing value to the land and also complementing government efforts.
Thank you so much, Baldwin. I understand that you went through Black 4B. You yourself are an agricultural graduate, and we have organizations such as CAGO's Coalition of Agricultural Graduates of Zimbabwe. Now, I understand that in all of that, you are also a beneficiary from the empowerment, the Empower Bank. What has been your journey like? What did you benefit? I understand that they are into training, even financial literacy. What has been your journey like when it comes to you working together with the Empower Bank?
Well, I would want to start by thanking the government and the president for initiating this, you know, a God-given that is called Empower Bank. As now I'm on my 13th year in agriculture since I left agriculture. When I started off, we did not have a bank that would, you know, mainly focus on the needs of an upcoming agripreneur like myself. Yes. You would go through your traditional banks, and they would have these stringent requirements which I could not fit. So when Empower Bank came on board, and when I went with my initial project to them, guys, this is what I want to achieve. I'm looking for funding of this, You know, it did not take long. It did not take much, but they want to see the business sense of it. It was not just like a handout. The business sense of it, does it make sense? What are your production targets? How are you willing to repay us? And the beauty of it is that once you go through the process and you finish your obligations, you are eligible for fresh funding.
Yes.
Be it that you've managed, like with some of the turnovers of the projects that I do, within 2-3 months I'm done. Then I repay the loan. Then I ask for fresh capital, and they're always there, and they are with you the whole step of the journey. So it's a bank that was made for us young people, and we should really exploit this advantage that we're given the link between agriculture and this vast potential and what the bank is willing to give. So us young people should exploit this advantage that we have here in Zimbabwe.
Now, finally, as we round off our segment, Baldwin, I would like you to speak to the youth out there. I understand that when it comes to projects like this one or program like this one, people will just automatically feel like it's money coming my way. I can spend a little and go to Kariba or go to Dubai. Your word of advice to the youth. We are the youth. We have various pressures. We encounter various things as we move around this country that you might say, let me divert these little funds and just do this. Your word of advice when it comes to financial discipline. I want to focus on financial discipline. This is the thrust of any entrepreneur, be it you are in mining or agriculture. When it comes to financial discipline, your sentiments, your word of advice as we close.
Thank you, Wadzanai. Financial discipline is it's a fundamental to success of any entrepreneur, like you said. It is of key and paramount importance, and it must come from within yourself. You must know that once you put in the work, once you cover your financial obligations and your business is running, you can now sweat the profits or what would have come out of that venture. That is what you can use to buy the luxuries, the cars, to build the house, and to go on holiday. And I also want to add in Wadzanai, to the youth out there. I would want to coin this term that we are 1 million men short in agriculture.
Yes.
Would want is in excess of millions of us young people to exploit this God-given resource that we're given, to exploit the opportunities that are being given by the government, and also to exploit these opportunities that this bank like Empower Bank is giving to us. So the challenge is us, guys, let's prove to the world that we can take up the challenge and get the job done.
Thank you so much, Baldwin. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Always a pleasure, Wadzanai. Thank you once again.
There you heard it, viewers. I was with Mr. Baldwin Mazango. He himself is a farmer and also a beneficiary of the Empower Bank, which has been established by the government to focus mainly on youth issues, youth empowerment issues. From me, your host, Wadzanai Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes, have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.